Welcome back to a new post today, and we all know that Supreme Court is the protector of fundamental rights, the interpreter of the Indian Constitution, and many a times the Supreme Court has come to the rescue of the citizens of this country, widening the ambit of the right to life under Article 21, where it brought many rights under the protection of fundamental rights, though not explicitly mentioned but implicitly within the ambit of right to life, that is Article 21. And today the Supreme Court once again widened the ambit of the Article 21 or the right to life by saying that the citizens have a fundamental right to be protected from the ill effects of climate change. We already are in the summer season, and the IMD has already forecasted heat waves during the peak election period for April and May as well. And the World Meteorological Organization has already brought out a report saying that heat waves are becoming more severe, especially in the tropical region. And this is the reason for global warming, which is because of the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, particularly from vehicular emission and also from energy power production. And we all know that in India, coal is the mainstay. So until we do not reduce the greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere, we will not ensure the people of reduction in global warming, which is leading to climate change and also the ill effects of climate change. So now Supreme Court coming to the rescue of people in a case which is related to the falling numbers of an endangered species of India called as the Great Indian Bustard, found in Gujarat, Rajasthan region along the border of the Pakistan. And this species as numbers has been dwindling. It's very native only to India, Pakistan region, and the species number has been dwindling because of the electrical wires that are passing through the border regions and the region, the habitat of the species which comes in contact with these electrical wires. And many species of the Great Indian Bustard, this bird has lost lives, and we have just about 200 plus numbers left of the Great Indian Bustard species. So very soon, if the numbers keep on dwindling, it's going to become extinct. We all know that every species in the nature have their role in the ecosystem. So it is in this regard that the Supreme Court has brought out an important point, saying that the people in our country have the fundamental right to clean environment and also against the adverse effects of climate change. So let's have a quick insight of what exactly the Supreme Court said. Also, the Supreme Court highlighted how India does not have an umbrella legislation to deal with climate change and also the adverse effects of climate change. It also spoke about the importance of solar power, bringing a socio-economic dimension to how solar power can protect the fundamental rights of the people. Though we have an energy goal to achieve with regard to climate change to increase the non-renewable energy sources in the energy basket of the country, but we should not forget that solar power will play a very important role in protecting the fundamental right of life of the people of the country, and therefore the government has to take urgent steps to increase the mix of non-renewable energy sources in the energy basket of the country. So let's have a quick review of what exactly the Supreme Court said and how again it widened the ambit of Article 21. So the Supreme Court, the right against climate change was called as a distinct fundamental right and a human right in the Supreme Court judgment, and this judgment came in a case which is associated with the survival of the endangered Great Indian Bustard species, a bird. So linking the right against climate change to Article 21 and 14, Chief Justice of India Chandrachud said that the rights to life and equality cannot be fully realized without clean and stable environment. Now the judgment noted that the right to clean and healthy environment and safe from ill effects of climate change was a fundamental human right. The Supreme Court has recognized the much felt but less articulated right against adverse effects of climate change as a distinct fundamental right in the Constitution. As havoc caused by climate change increases year by year, it becomes necessary to articulate this as a distinct right, said the Supreme Court. It recognized that by Article 14, that's right to equality, and Article 21, that's right to life, the Supreme Court observed in its judgment that this is an important part of the fundamental right to life of the people. An order was pronounced in the open court on March 21st, constituting an expert committee to examine the problem faced by the bird species, that is the great Indian bustard, whose natural habitat has been, and the flight routes collide with the power transmission lines in Gujarat and Rajasthan, and these species have been losing their lives because of these transmission lines, and also with regard to poaching as well. So linking the right against climate change to Article 21 and 14, Chandrachud said the rights to life and equality could not be realized without a clean, stable environment. So as health and nutrition is required for the physical body, we need a clean environment to live in a clean and a stable manner, and also to realize our whole development as well. A clean environment will not only provide you clean air from which we get our oxygen, clean water, but also clean food resources as well. And the right to health, which is a part of right to life under Article 21, is impacted due to a variety of factors such as air pollution, vector-borne diseases being increasing, rising temperatures, heat waves, the droughts, shortage in food supplies due to the crop failure, storms and flooding, and forest fires as well. The inability of the undeserved communities to adapt to climate change or to cope with the effects of violates the right to life as well as the right to equality. And this, in this terms, the Supreme Court is talking of something that is called as climate justice. So if climate change and environmental degradation lead to acute food and water shortages in a particular area, poorer communities will suffer more than the richer ones, and this is what the judgment said. So the court also highlighted interconnection between climate change and various human rights, including the right to health, indigenous rights, gender equality, and also the right to development. Now, violation of the right to healthy environment can reverberate across numerous right domains, including the right to life, personal integrity, healthy water, housing, as well as procedural rights such as right to information, expression, association, and also in the participation. Unequal energy access disproportionately affects women and girls due to the gender roles and also responsibilities such as through the time spent in the domestic chores and also unpaid work at home. This is what the Supreme Court highlighted. The court underscored how the important role of solar power would play an important role in arresting the ills of climate change. So India's solar potential, let me tell you, India urgently needed to shift to solar power or a mix of power. This is what the Supreme Court said, and there are three issues with regard to this. This was spelled out by the Supreme Court. One, that the country is likely to account for 25% of global energy demand growth over the next 2 decades. Two, rampant air pollution emphasizes the need for cleaner energy sources. Three, declining underground water levels and decreasing rainfall will affect the communities at large, and the poorer communities even much more. The court noted that the country was already endowed with a vast potential of solar energy, receiving almost 5,000 trillion kilowatt of energy per year. Solar photovoltaic power offered immense scalability in India, allowing effectiveness to harness the solar energy, and India already has a goal of achieving 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel based electricity by 2030, aligning our efforts to get into a net zero mode by 2070. In 2022 and 23 and 24, out of the total generation capacity of 9,943 megawatt, added 8,269 came from non-fossil fuel sources, according to the Renewable Energy Statistics of 2023 released by the International Renewable Energy Agency. India has the fourth largest installed capacity of renewable energy, but much more needs to be done. India's commitment to transitioning to non-fossil fuel energy is just not a strategic energy goal now, but a fundamental necessity for environmental preservation, and much more than that, linking it to the protecting of fundamental right, especially the fundamental right to life under Article 21. And investing in renewable energy will not only address these urgent environmental concerns, but also yield to a plethora of socio-economic benefits, and this is what the Supreme Court highlighted. By shifting towards the renewable energy sources, India enhances its energy security, reduces reliance on volatile fossil fuel markets, and mitigates the risk associated with energy scarcity. Additionally, the adoption of renewable energy also helps in curbing air pollution, thereby improving public health and also reducing healthcare costs. So this is how the dimension of reducing climate pollution and providing a clean and a stable environment for the people, and putting the liability on the state to protect the fundamental right of life to the people by the Supreme Court. Once again, importance of climate change not only from the dimension of strategic environmental protection, but also with regard to the protection of fundamental rights of people. So this is how the Supreme Court comes to the protection of people time and again, and proving that it is one of the bulwarks of democracy in the country. And I hope these few points are really helpful to you all. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.